application where I'm going to show you the coding standards, how do we implement and how to maintain a layered architecture for our application, how do we implement the interface implementations, and how to maintain the coding standards for your all the components of your application. I just created a Java project called template application. So going forward, all of you need to follow this structure. That is the reason I am taking this session. So here I am going to maintain first the package structure. The first package we are going to do with is, okay, is a client application. This can also be called as a main application, run application, test application, you can call it anything. And another package I am going to maintain with is called as, okay, this is called as, we can also call it as bean, also we can call it as transfer object, TO. TO means a transfer object, okay. We will maintain the package name called com dot product management system, PMS dot, okay, DTO. DTO means data transfer object. Here for this package what I will give the name is, okay, com dot product management system dot client is a package name. I am just changing the package name. And one more package we wanted to write is called com dot product management system dot, okay, now you need to say service. So service is one package, DTO is one package, client is another package. So what exactly the role of this client, DTO and, okay, or service? See here, whenever you are going to run with your application, first of all you will be writing end user program. This is called as your client application, where you run the program, you get the result also. This is going to interact with your one program called as internally, okay, called as a service class. But before it go to the service class, whatever the end user is going to submit the data, that has to be updated into one component that we are calling it as, there are multiple names for this. One is called as a bean, sometimes we will call it as Pojo class, plain old Java object, sometimes we will call it as a data transfer object. DTO or Pojo or bean, all are nothing but the data coming from the end user, we will store into that in the form of an object, not in the form of an individual variable. So that is a standard we need to maintain. And that is the object we will use for service layer. Further, we are going to get n number of layers into our application. Everywhere we will use it. So today just we are starting with one client application, one service layer and one data transfer object, okay. So for that purpose we are making three packages. Here the application is, we are going to manage with the product details. So let me take a class called as product, okay, and this we are calling it as, this itself is nothing but DTO, data transfer object, or plain old Java object Pojo, or called as bean. In some frameworks it is also called as value object, where the values are stored, right? So what exactly this product class? This contains the product details. Let's say product ID, product name, product quantity, price, manufacturer name, whatever the data you wanted to have it. Okay, you declare all the data required for the product. Here, for example, I just wanted to check whether the product ID and name to store and to retrieve. The complexity depending on your application, you have to increase it. So for every class, okay, you must have, means for every Pojo class or the bean class or DTO class, we must provide all the features called as an empty constructor, and then you have to generate with the constructor using values, using parameters, means a parameterized constructor. Further, you can generate with the setters, getters, so that you can add the data at runtime by using set id, get id, set a name and get name. And finally you can also have with the further any other methods, toString, equals method, okay, whatever you require for this you are going to use with. Why this is called as data transfer object? When data is coming into your application, first you will store with this object and you can use this object anywhere else in your application, right? So now coming here in the service package, we are going to have another application called as product service. In a product service class can have any number of logics, okay, it can have any number of logics, but here just we wanted to have one single logic called as validate, okay, product is one method. But what are you doing is here, if it is validated, okay, you wanted to return here boolean, return type is boolean, okay, you are making this function as public boolean is return type validate product. Initially just I am saying that true, I am not writing any logic, just simply I am returning true. The thing is, when you directly write a class and call this function somewhere else in other application, that is not secure. That is the reason always you need to maintain an interface. You should not make use of this class directly outside of your package. So how do we design our application, right? So first of all, when we are going to create our product management system application to perform some logic with the products, okay, first of all you created your Pojo class called product where we have some data. So your data is ready, called your product bean, means some data, product ID, product name, you can have setters, getters, constructor, toString, everything is ready with product. Now what action you wanted to do with this product, that we are going to write into our service class called product service. Only one single action I am going to show you. Further you can do any number of actions. Let us say adding of a product, deleting of a product, updating a product, listing a product, okay, changing some product expiry date, okay, removing this product from the available list. Any action you can do with that product. But here only one action we are going to perform with is called as validate. What exactly this validate is going to do with? Some ID, some parameter we check whether product ID, product name is matching so and so condition or not. So that is what we are going to do with our validate logic. But here when we write something in this class, now our client application will call our class to invoke that. So instead of calling our class directly, let us make an interface in between and let us our application call through our interface. So how do we design our application now? We are going to first write a product service interface, product service interface, and we will have an implementation called as product service implementation. This is going to be a class, this is going to be an interface. So that is the reason in this package, service package, let us have an interface first instead of class. So what we can do is, okay, we can extract an interface from the available class. That is always possible. Okay, so here we can say implements, okay, product service is an interface. We didn't write so far the interface, but the thing is we have a class, we have implemented the method. How do we write a, okay, product interface? This can be done by using refactoring. Right click on the class, refactor, extract interface. I am showing both the techniques, okay. When you say what is the interface name you wanted to maintain with, I wanted to do my interface name as product service. And what is the method you wanted to make it abstract in the interface, okay, product, right? This is going to take it like use extracted interface when wherever it is possible and the members, okay, and then okay, for example here we have given the name as a product service, right? So it is not accepting. So let us come back from the beginning. Let us say here we will say refactor, rename, we'll make it as IMPL, right? So if it is already there, it cannot create, right? So that is the reason it is giving error. So refactor, extract interface, so validate. What is the interface you wanted to have with product service? Then say OK. See here, now there is a service interface is created automatically. We have not created that. It's an abstract method. So just we are implementing that. Right? Product service is a service implemented automatically and we are going to make use of that. Okay, this is a overridden method. Here is an implementation method. Why do we write this interface? Interface is always preferable for security purpose rather making use of directly the class. How do we use this product service IMPL in our application? We are going to see now. Right? So our DTO object is ready, means where the data is getting stored is ready. What service needs to be done? Validating a product service has to be done. That logic is ready. And now where do we are going to use this application? In the client application. Right click, let us write a new class called product test, product main or product runner. Anything you can call this file name. Just we are saying that product test in which we will have a main function. All these classes main is not required. Right? Now, this is the class which is called as your end user interface class where the actual data for product is going to be entered and received and we will call that. Okay. So how do we take product details now? First is you have to say that as soon as you enter here, it has to display a menu. Okay. Before that, you have to create an object of product P equal to new product because you have to update the data into product, right? So first let us create an empty product object. And now you make this class as public. Here you just created an empty object. You need to import as it is not available in the current package. You imported, right? And here your constructor should be public, otherwise it will not allow. Done. Now in the test class, first you created an empty product. First you need to say that enter product details. Because here the end user is going to read the data. Right? Use a scanner. And then you need to input the values for your product object over here. So this is nothing but called as a layered architecture with the proper coding standards by maintaining the proper class names, function names, and then method names, your variable names. Okay. So first of all, we are creating a scanner object to input the data coming from user system.in, and then we will ask the end user to enter the data. Okay. But as soon as you input the data, right, it has to be updated with your DTO object. Means first you will take int product ID equal to scanner dot next int. You have read your product ID. Next is product name. So string name equal to scanner dot next line is a method where you can read your product name. Both are you are inputting here. After you input the data, first of all, you have to set the values into this product, right? So how do you set the values? Simply take the product object, okay, set ID of PID. You have setters methods, right? P dot, okay, set name of, okay, you have to say name. You should not use the syntax of like passing the data into the constructor. That syntax you need to forget about now. You have to use setters. Once you set the data, now your product object is ready for usage. This is what, okay, you are setting the values into this, and whenever it is required, you will use it. Now your product object is ready with the data. Now, how do we send that data to our service to validate? So now To call our service object, we will not call the service directly. What we will do? First, we will create product service object. This is an interface, PS equal to new product, okay, service IMPL. This is how we will create an object. Always you have to use this interface only. You don't go directly create an implementation class object and directly work with that. You should use the left side interface, right side product object. Okay, so this is called interface implementation. You import both the implementation and class and as well as interface. Both are ready now. Right now, you have got data of a product and you have got a service. Now, how do I call my method called validate product? Okay, that is what we are going to do with here, called ps dot validate product of what is the product you are sending it here. You need to pass your object, right? You just pass your object. You don't send any simple values here. So to send this product object to this place, so what do you need here? In the implementation class also, you must have a same parameter called product P, and you import the product. And in the similar fashion, in the implementation class also, we must have the parameter product P, right? So we have got importing of product. So we have got everything ready now. So now I am able to read my product details. I am able to send the details. When I send my product details to this place, here it is an abstract method. So I am not going to do with anything here with the interface. Actual logic we will write it here. What is the thing you wanted to test it? This is depending on your requirement specifications of your case study. It can be your product ID should be from 1 to 100. It can be product ID should have 3 characters. It can be the product ID should not have length 5 characters. Whatever may be the specification, that requirement specification depends on the case study. It varies from application to application. Here I am just giving a simple requirement specification like the product ID should be in the range of 1 to 100. That is what is my requirement. You have to test it, right? Product ID should not be less than 1, should not be greater than 100. 1 to 100. In your project implementation specification document itself, they'll specify for a particular field what is the requirement. You need to validate that. Now, how do I get my product ID? Somewhere I am storing here. Here I am reading, I am storing here, I am sending to this my product validate method. So I am coming to this place. Here I should get that product ID to check this, right? So to test this, I am not supposed to test here itself. This is client program, user interface. I should not do business logic. And coming here, this is a data transfer object. This is only to store the data. Okay, this is an object used to store the data for a while for a execution of your application. Here also I will not write a business logic. Where do I write my business logic? That is called as service. In the service, I have written a function called validate product. Here I should write a logic. So let us extract now p dot get ID. Now we are getting it. If p dot get ID is greater than or equal to 1 and p dot get ID, okay, is less than or equal to 100, return true, else return false. But this is also not a good coding practice. Okay, what do you need to do? You have to take always a flag. You should not take, okay, every time multiple returns in a function. You should take one flag called result equal to true, here result equal to false. And finally end of your function, just before you come out of your function, say return result. There should be a single return within your function. You should not have multiple returns. That leads to again overhead to your code. So you should not follow that syntax. You should have a single, okay, return statement for an entire function. So this is what is our implementation now. My service class is ready. but I am not going to use this service directly. Request comes through your interface, then it will come to your class. Okay, that is the standard we are following here. What is that? Creating an interface reference, then following the implementation class. Then I am calling my method to test it. What is the result it is going to give? Either you can say like a boolean result equal to something, and then you can finally say that here if result is true, you can say that validation is success. Else if that is not, if the result is not true, you have to say that validation is failure or unsuccessful. That's all. Your validation is done. So you may think that why should I write this many classes? I can write the same logic over here, but in real time you have to divide your logic into the n number of layers. You have to follow the design patterns. So there is some designs everywhere. Everything is a class. DTO is also class, service is also class, test is also class, but every class responsibility is defined very clearly. So what is the difference between all these classes is the end user class is going to have only the user interaction. This is called test class, UI class. UI class means user interface class, that is your test class. And coming to, you have a DTO object, data transfer object, or a bean or a pojo, or also called as a value object. As soon as data is received into your application, you will update that into your DTO so that this can be used anywhere else in your application. Further, we will have services. Services means there can be n number of services into your application. Each class, each service is having some n number of functions. Each function will do some logic, and it takes the input and do some logic and give back the response. That is the purpose of service class. That is what we are implementing here, a simple service called product service, but you're not supposed to call that service class directly. Always you have to use, here is called interface implementation. Interface you have to use, and right side is an implementation. This is an interface and here it is an implementation class. You have to follow this syntax, because this is for security purpose. In real time you should never directly, you can call like this as well, you will get the same output, but this is not the right way of using it. So always the request should go through your interface. So we are creating an interface always for your services. For every service there should be an interface. Create an interface first, then you write an implementation class for that, then you use it, right? So now this is a class we have got to test it. So right click. Here is, as we are using a scanner, whenever you read an integer, after reading an integer, when you go to the next line, it may give an error. Let us check. So I'm into Java perspective, right click. Run as Java application. So enter the product details. I am entering the product details as 1, 2, and then validation is success. See here, the problem with this next int is, whenever we read an integer value, immediately you should say that sc dot next line, because there is a problem called, there is a buffer has to be cleared with, otherwise it cannot take the input of the succeeding input, it cannot take. So you have to give an empty next line, so it will not read anything, but there should be an empty line which will clear your buffer. So you can observe here, I am giving a product ID as 15, then I am going to give the product name as bag, right? I am going to give the product name as bag. Validation is success because it is in the same range. Now let's say I'm going to run it again. I'll give the product ID as minus number, and I give a product name as something. So validation is unsuccess. Let us say I'll run it again. and I'll give the product ID as 123 and I give some product name as book. It is unsuccess. This is how you need to initially start with coding skills by maintaining the standards, maintaining the layers for your application, and always your service application should have a logic implemented, and every service should have implemented with one of an interface. Okay, you must have an interface for that particular service. Directly don't write a class with directly logic. Write an interface, then implementation, use it. And here is a product class which is called as a data transfer object. So this is the object further in further layers also we will be using with. How do we use? We will be looking into future sessions. So that is the reason it is called as data transfer object. Data can be transferred from one layer to other layer because of this object. So it is called as a DTO. Next is this purpose of this product test class is for testing, means for running, for execution, to take the input from the user, call